Thank you so much for tuning in today to Supernova Body, the podcast. Today's episode, we are talking about religion. Disclaimer. We're talking about religion and my personal experience and journey with it. So I put a disclaimer because if you are sensitive to topics about Christianity, about African spirituality, about the tarot, I admonish you to not listen to this episode. For everyone else, though, who's open to experiencing different perspective, I would like you to continue to listen. So, what is religion to me? Religion is a man-made guideline or set of ordinances given to man to help them along this journey we call life. What does that mean? It means that I believe religion is a construct that we use to keep us from trauma. For the most part, that is the essential point of religion, to keep us from making decisions that won't be beneficial to our experience here and don't keep us in union with whoever we serve. What do I believe is the ultimate religion? None. I think that we all can find truth and connectivity in most. Does that mean that I denounce Christianity as being the premise for my life or the basis and foundation from which I build? No, not at all. It just means that upon further investigation, I understand where man may have gotten involved in religion too much. What does that mean? It means that Christianity was recognized as a religion 2,000 years ago with the creation or recognition of Christ. Prior to that, there was a Bible and a documented way of living that had nothing to do with Christianity as we know it today. Yet, everything in that book and the books that precede it have a fluid theme, and the theme is love. So my understanding of spirituality is to manifest that in all aspects. What does that mean? That means that if I'm acting out of love, and that's my mission, then I am making sure to honor what that looks like for each situation and person. Acting out of love for someone that is in love with someone of the same sex is not the same as acting out of love for someone that is in love with an opposite sex. So I'm not going to apply the same love that is needed for someone that does not necessarily feel victimized or objectified than I would for someone that feels victimized or unaccepted. It's different. They're different levels, and every situation is subjective to that situation. So living my life in a way where showing love differs from situation to situation, being to being, makes it kind of impossible to create a set of standards that everyone can follow identically word for word. I think that in order to be in union or in tune, you have to do what works for that moment, space, time, and person. One thing I love about the Bible and the teachings of Jesus is that he spoke to people and came to them as they were where they are and spoke in a way where they could understand. That means that how he spoke to tax collectors was not the same as how he spoke to prostitutes or gypsies or people that had a different understanding of life. He met people where they are so that they could understand. So his application of love varied from person to person. I feel like with religion, we try to force everyone to think and act and do as we think and act and do. And a lot of times we take scriptural understanding out of the context it was meant in and put in our own understanding because it fits our narrative. What does that mean? That means an example would be Jesus and the bread and the fish, and Enoch in his understanding of extraterrestrial encounters and being called up to go live with God. If you look at the situation in the sense that he's being literal, then you'll assume that he was picked up by a spaceship. If you look at the situation in the sense that he was astral projecting, you'll look at it in a different way and get a totally different understanding. Both cases are based upon our understanding at that time of what we're reading, just as our understanding of many scriptures changes with time. If something is so fluid and changes with time, then why are we so rigid with it? Why do we use it as a way to separate, as a way to discourage, as a way to control and manipulate people, if that was not necessarily its intention or purpose for creation? So religion is, in my opinion, our greatest demise, and the fall of every great civilization is the result of the desire to control it. I think that it's so evident in the book of Eli, where it was literally an apocalyptic time on earth, and they were fighting over the Bible because they knew that it was a weapon that could be used to control the masses. And I think that is the case because of the amount of truth included that you'll find across many different religions. It's the differences in those religions that create the anger, the frustration, and the attacks on countries and people, and the burnings and the hangings and all of these different things, because the understanding is different. It varies. And because this person's understanding of it wasn't the same as this one, all hell has to break loose, and we just have to treat people accordingly. A major part of my, dissonance would be, or my disdain or dislike or distrust for Christianity specifically, arised from the understanding of serpents and what the serpent represented in all other religions, which is not one of mischievousness or mischief or evil, but of enlightenment and wisdom. And it was a tool that represented medics and people that were into herbology and botanicals, because to have that understanding or that sacred knowledge meant that you were in tune with your higher self and in tune with your higher power. And it was a sign that you were connected, not that you were set apart or apart from or evil or in dis-ease or at odds with God. So that was the main thing that I began to find issue with, and that led to finding issue with African spirituality as being viewed as evil or viewed as witchcraft, when the Bible speaks explicitly of the ways of old and how things were done, and not out of pagan things, but just things that were done. When I say pagan, I just mean that just means European, and the way that Europe did things at the time, which even there's a lot there. And then Europe and all of these different things. Not to bash or take away the validity of Christianity, but more so to take away the disdain for African spirituality. That mainly was my goal within myself, and to understand and be able to make peace with the aspects of myself that were innate to me, that I was curious about, that I wanted to learn more about, but felt that would be a disservice to my relationship with Jesus, with God, and other Christians. And then I got to a place where I just no longer cared, because I had to do what intuitively connected me with my higher power, with my intuition, which removed a lot of the confusion that I had within Christianity and within ministry. I had a lot of questions. I had a lot of sleepless nights reading and studying and trying to go deeper into Christianity, and I was hitting rocks and boulders and walls, and I was angry and I was frustrated, and I was beginning to become hateful of people, specifically people, which led me to not just understand myself better, but to understand all aspects of myself better. So the different nationalities that are a part of my heritage and my blood, to understand their spirituality and their religions, and understand how for some reason they all had the same premise, which was to love. They all had the same premise, which was to heal and take accountability for our own state of being and do something about it, not just stay in disease, but to get out of that. And there were many people that did it for themselves. You didn't have to go to a medicine woman or man. You didn't have to go to a shaman or a Shango. You didn't have to go to these people until it was something that was outside of your control, or something that you felt you just didn't have the knowledge to do. But it wasn't necessary that it be an everyday thing where every single day you just don't have the knowledge, because you had it yourself. It was innate to you. You knew how to cook, how to eat, how to go out to the field and pick this because it was good for this. And that was taken in a sense, and it's now looked at as being a witch, or looked at as being African voodoo. It's like this is literally what the Bible teaches us in many ways, to be mindful of the land and to honor it, and to use the blessings of God for good. I had to reconcile within myself that my understanding of religion and spirituality would no longer be the same. It would no longer be the same as my best friends, that it would no longer be the same as people of other religions or nationalities that I studied. It would never be something that I could bottle and put in the confines of the system that I was raised in. It was going to be fluid, and I wasn't going to be able to have seminars or monasteries. I was no longer going to be able to be somebody's minister, pastor, because every day my understanding of what I was learning, what I know now, is fluid. Like it continues to evolve every day. I'll record this, and then in 10 weeks it'll be something else. So it taught me that the only thing I could do was point people within, that I could help people where they are and encourage them to consider taking accountability for where they are and doing things about it, and utilizing the things that we are given to be fuller expressions of themselves. And that's my understanding of the negatives of religion, and why I consider spirituality to be the goal. And it is the goal because it is all-inclusive of self. It is a constant reflection and check-in with what am I feeling, where am I at, what am I being instructed and led to do, what am I doing this for, who should I be doing this for? Am I doing this for other people? Am I doing this for myself? Am I doing this because I feel like this aligns with my purpose? Am I doing this for some kind of accolade or high five? I feel like it makes you more honest, and it makes you more independent, and it makes you really stand on your own and trust that your relationship with God is valid because you're putting in the time, you're putting in the effort to have that relationship and that connection, and you no longer can rely on anyone else to tell you or lead you to anything. You gotta do it yourself, and that's the part of religion that I think is detrimental, because it teaches us that we don't have to do too much work ourselves. Yes, we have a relationship, and yes, this and that, but ultimately, all you gotta really do is just go to church. Don't forsake the assembly. That's really what's important. Make sure you show off your outfit, and if you online, make sure people know that you were there, so that you can get your accolades and kudos, instead of it being every day I wake up and I ask, what am I wearing today? Every day I wake up and I ask, what am I doing today? Every day I stay in prayer. Prayer is not a one-time thing or a time where you just talk to God for a certain amount of time. Prayer is a continuous act. It's a continuous conversation. It's a continuous connection. And we are to stay in prayer if you are literal with your understanding of the Bible, or if you understand the concept of being connected. We are to stay connected, not just to God, but to others. And the best way to do that is by remaining in love and remaining loving, where the way that you love people is based on what's required or needed to truly show your love. That's my understanding of spirituality, and my journey from stepping away from ministry and going into holistic healing, still adopting my foundation, but understanding that man is flawed, and that once you recognize your intentions and once you recognize your motivations for being distant from others, you can truly understand that the ultimate goal is interconnectivity. The ultimate goal is love. And if by me telling you that your beliefs are the reason why you're not going to make it to the ether, then I don't think that's super loving. I don't believe that the objective of that is one of love. I think that it is of separation and exclusivity, and not a trait of peace. So I admonish you, if you've been considering or thinking about challenging yourself, why you believe, to do so. In no way do I want to be a shepherd's rod where I'm steering people away from the church. I just want people to take their Bible literally and really connect with Source. Because I believe that there's more in there that should be examined in the eyes of truth than should be just blown or brushed off as biblical times. It talks about astral projection, it talks about the cosmos, it talks about time travel, it talks about true love and loving people the way that we should love people, and it talks about traits that we shouldn't have, and it's not based on what a lot of people think. I'm gonna touch on this, and it's gonna be the last thing I touch on. But Sodom and Gomorrah, my understanding of Sodom and Gomorrah has evolved significantly. I think that people think Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed because they were homosexual men, when I think a lot of people miss all of the other traits and characteristics that they displayed, which were they were rapists, they had no self-control, they were evil and sadistic in nature. Only one of those characteristics do people focus on. And this is my problem. This is my issue with the propaganda aspect of religion and the man-made interaction, where we hang our hats on one aspect but don't focus on gluttony and don't focus on evilness and the lack of love and disobedience and all of these things. So, I mean, just maybe do some self-reflection a little bit. Just a little bit. I feel I had to, and it changed me. It changed me and made me more loving. Like, how does that work? I don't know. I think it's imperative that we take time out to look at things objectively, and take times out to challenge what we believe, and keep what works and let go of what doesn't, and expand upon that and deepen our understanding and relationship, so that it's not so much about these rituals, but it's about the things that really matter and the status of our heart and the maintenance of that. That's work in itself, but also the maintenance of our brothers and sisters and how we can, keep them maintained as well. But that's all I have for today. If you made it through to the end without hating my guts, I appreciate you. It's just my opinion, and it's just my perspective on life, and life as it pertains to religion and spirituality, and why I believe what I believe, and how it's ever fluid and ever deepening and changing. And I hope that you have a beautiful day full of light, love, and peace. And I hope the best for you. Have a great day, and thank you so much. I hope you tune into the next episode of Supernova Body, the podcast.